because that's what it is. Because then you get to ask the question. Because what you're dealing with her is she's like, you don't get it. Like, oh, we're this and that. You're like, no, don't you get it? That's not how you're going to get it, by getting that TV. And then this happens. That's my point. So none of it comes off as anger, and all of it comes off as passion. All right, whenever.
Yes, there must have been thousands upon thousands of people there. Thousands. Everybody ranging from old men to teenage girls to little boys holding up a sign saying, I am a man. And then somebody squeezed me to the front. We linked arms. And then the march started. I am a man. I am a man. I am a man. We didn't even walk up on one block before we heard the sound of glass shattering. And then I got swooped up in a tornado of arms, coughing legs and mace. I didn't want to leave the people campaign. I didn't want to leave them. But my men, they just pushed me in the back of a moving car, and I looked out that back window, and I saw what was once a blissful peace descend into chaos. Don't they know you can't just march down the street?
That's what I mean. Descend into chaos. Chaos goes to stillness, so you can ask a real question. So just start with asking the question from exactly where you are with exactly that energy.
Don't they know you can't just march down the street and bust in the store windows and get yourself a free color television? We are marching for living wage, not no damn color television. Cool. This just gives a reason for the police to shoot innocent folks.
Yes! Do you see what I'm saying? Because you're like, they wait for this shit. When are we gonna get ahead of that shit? And that's all it is. Just like when I'm talking to y'all and I'm passionate, y'all don't think I'm angry. There's nothing in that comes off as anger. The biggest note, and this is a hard one because I've done this show twice, the African American males that take on this role forget how hard it is. And it's not the acting part that's hard.
No, it's not.
And I can feel it even in the short period of time. Like I can feel it in your vessel because it starts to crack open what all of us have to manage as Black people. And to have to be a Black actor who has to hold it together when you're saying this, I know why you go into the energy you go into, but you're gonna have to challenge it and let yourself crack open and let yourself find it differently, because that's the reality of what it is to be Black. This whole play is literally what it is to be a Black man and what it is to be a Black woman. We're angels that no one even sees, and you're men that can change the world and be murdered at any given moment. That's what this play is about. And that's why it's so hard for you to do it. So that's why that subtext is so important, because it will save you exponentially, not just in time, but in your spirit of not getting too caught. Because you'll know the subtext is that, it'll get you through that. So I just needed to say that to you, because it's not going to be an easy task over the next few weeks, because this is where the hard part comes.
Yeah.
The lines are there. Now you have to just allow him to be visceral and to feel every single moment, because that's why we came. Easy job. So easy. You want to work on another one?
Yeah.
You look pretty.
Thank you.
You always look good. Y'all always look good.
You too.
When I say aim it, or fuck the white man.
How do you feel about that one?
That one, we can work on that. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's actually where you kick in a little bit into the play. And I think it's because you're cheering each other on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking the red.
You're actually like really in a good space there.
I agree.
Working on those first two prior to that is going to inform that one.
Okay.
I was thinking about, we talked about fear, Kame. Well, I felt fear.
Oh, that one.
Like that one, page 26.
Cool. So, what happens right before this? What are y'all
This
talking
is,
about and what has happened
This
at
is
this
after
point?
Campaign reveals herself as an angel. We actually, you said you keeping the table?
Yeah, okay, so I have, we're working with the TV set, but I kinda wanted to play with downstage. I don't know about the office. I was just trying to like establish Kame's separation from the real world, like showing, cause in the line she says, it was like, well, like, you really an angel? So what else I gotta do for you to really cry flowers? Like, that just, I'm just opening more worlds for them to work with. And then seeing the motel room from outside.
Outside.
And then the red door is what, like, I still want that red door to be on the set, which is what gravitates it back into it. And I was saying to work with, I was saying to work with the relationship with the door, like, cause of course the red, it could have been any color, but why a red door? And, you know, do I wanna add sound? I'm not sure, but it's like, kind of like you're in a trance.
So this monologue is separate from the scene?
No, it's
Do
like,
you see what I mean? Like, that's the question I'm asking, like, is he in front of the red door?
he's
Does he-
moving towards the front red door.
While he's speaking?
While he's speaking, and
Okay.
then there's a moment of like stillness, but not. It's kind of like his whole focus is at the door.
Is at the door, so
Yeah.
he's not looking out, he's looking at
He's
the door.
looking at the door,
Okay.
moving from downstairs.
And that's the door for him to have to, like, acknowledge the rest of his life.
And I was like, I don't know, I'm like,
Cool.
just.
So for right now, don't look at a door or anything, just say the words, just sit.
Sit.
So she just said she's an angel. Can
Yeah.
you read into me like at least 5 lines, 6 lines prior from Kevin?
Yeah, okay.
Just so that there's context.
Okay. Yes, I gotta take you to the other side.
It's the other side.
No, wait, not yet,
Sorry.
sorry. No, I'm saying, look, I know you're afraid, Preacher King,
Why you know I'm afraid?
because you should be, when she shows the door.
Okay.
When you talk about fear, Kame, well, I felt fear. I felt it in my guts. I felt it in my toes. I felt it even when I stood in front of my own congregation of my own church. There beneath that rugged cross, I have quaked and shook in fear. And my insides, they churned, and I fought hard to keep it from leaping out of my mouth. But you see, a Negro man ain't safe in his own in a pulpit, even a pulpit of his own making. Because in this country, pulpit is a pedestal.
Sunday morning.
Oh yes, Sunday mornings. See, Sunday mornings are the days that I'm most afraid of. Because you see, in this country, a pulpit is a pedestal. And as you know, in America, the tall trees fell first. Tall trees have a lot of wood to burn, can't they? We are the sacrifice.
Okay. Then what's the line after that? What happens after that?
You've been knowing I was coming, haven't you?
Yes, oh yes. I've dreamed of you with eyes wide open. I've even dreamt of you with eyes wide open. What is it?
I'd rather have nightmares.
Oh yeah. Yes, oh yes. I've dreamed of you. Rather had nightmares. I've even dreamed of you with eyes wide open.
Okay.
Been so many.
Fury has a whole thing.
There's been so many death threats.
And then y'all just like, so that's kind of exactly 1 year ago, studying that pulpit, you know, when this shattered this war with the abolition. There's a lot to go. Okay, that's all I wanted to know, just in
Yeah.
terms of movement. Okay, so it's at the top of discovering this.
Yeah.
right? So it isn't the like, here's the question I have. This is the question I have for the two here.
Cool.
Where between the moment of discovering you're gonna die, right? She's an angel, which is what this is, correct?
Right.
Has she told you you're gonna die already as well? She hasn't said that yet.
No.
Yeah, but she hints at it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, this is why I have the question. There's a difference between being able to, we can all sit here right this second and be super chill with the fact that we know we're going to die.
Right.
But it's a whole other thing if I walk out on that street and suddenly my throat closes up and I think I'm dying,
Yeah, that's true.
right? It's a different trigger and it's a different emotional space. So directorially, my first question is where does he find out he actually is dying tomorrow? And the reason it makes a difference is where does he relinquish all power? Where does he break down? Where does MLK deconstruct, right?
I have it like further down.
Cool. So
Yeah.
this monologue is amazement. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
This monologue is the fascination of things. Because the language we're hearing is all the things he's been afraid of, but he doesn't say yet that he's afraid. She keeps saying he's afraid. He hasn't said he's afraid yet. So this, I think, instead of starting this moment with like the solemnness and the like, this is the denial part. This is the joy part. This is the like, I have made it through a lot of stuff. I've been afraid here, I've been afraid here, I've been afraid here, you know? Yeah, I mean, I've dreamt of you as an angel, because until you believe her, there is no fear.
Yeah, he said fear has become my companion, my lover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more amazing. It's like, damn. So you're telling me on the other side of that door is like the universe and the futurist? Like, and not that you deny her as an angel, because she even says, what do I have to do? And you're like, no, I believe you. It's just, this is a trip.
Yeah, what's going on?
So I think that like, as you go through this, you have to take the moment for that and look at it from that perspective. So I want you to just get up on your feet in that first part. We're gonna work through these last few monologues. In this first part, I just want you to be like amazed that you're about to have this experience. Just like a roller coaster ride. As if you're in line for the new ride at like King's Dominion or Hershey Park or some shit. Just as an exercise for energy. From wherever it works.
Can you give me the line before that?
Because you should be.
So you want to talk about fear, Cam A?
Again, we're gonna start different.
Okay.
Christopher likes to pull all his energy in because the man he is has to always pull it in, process it, because if he reacts out of pocket, he gets in trouble. It's the opposite in this room. Laugh at the top, out loud. This is your laugh. I want you to laugh through this whole thing. So the moment she goes, you should be, laugh at her and keep going. I've been afraid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Not you. Not you. Do that. See what happens. Say the line again. Nope, that's not even out loud. How do you, ha 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 ha. Laugh at her.
Okay.
At her. She's like, stop, girl. Laugh at her. I've been afraid of this. I've been afraid under my pulpit.
Okay.
I know what it is to be afraid, Kame. Take it out of the melancholy and the solemn. Do not play Martin Luther King as if he is already dead. That is what will kill this role. Is playing him as if he is a historical figure will kill this role. Because we know that already. Then there's nothing new. So enjoy him more. Enjoy that. This man died at 33, 34 years old? 39? Oh, he just looks so.
Yeah. Old.
39. Yeah, he looked old.
Trying to shave his off, you know.
Exactly. But he was almost 40. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Acting like he's 60. But she makes him act 20.
Right.
Yeah.
She brings that out in him. So those are the things to think about. The moments where he feels older than he is because of the nature of his job, and where he is younger than he feels. You know what I mean? Like, all of that. Enjoy this more.
We'll go a little bit back so we can.
Yeah, give him a couple of lines.
Okay. Her prayers are powerful. I can tell she's got away with words. A gift. Sound like she's gonna be a preacher one day. I don't like trailing too much, but she's fine.
My bunny. My baby girl, she knows.
Yes. I gotta take you to the other side. Look, I know you're afraid, Preacher King.
You think I'm afraid? How you know I'm afraid?
Because you should be.
You want to talk about fear, Kame? Well, I have felt fear. I felt it in my guts. I felt it in my toes. I even felt it as soon as I stood in front of my own congregation in my own church. There beneath that rugged cross, I have quaked and shook in fear. You see, a Negro man ain't safe in his own pole.
My insides churned.
Oh, my insides churned, and I kept them, and I fought hard to keep them from leaping out of my mouth. You see, a Negro man ain't safe in the pulpit, even a pulpit of his own making. Sunday mornings are what I'm most afraid of. Because, you know, in this country, a pulpit is a pedestal. And as you know in America, the tall trees fell first.
Keep going.
Tall trees have a lot of wood to burn, Kame. We are the sacrifice.
You've been knowing I was coming, haven't you?
Yes, oh yes. Rather have nightmares.
Right, he's still laughing. Do you get the joke now?
Yeah.
The amazement is, this shit's fucking real.
Yes.
That's the amazement. Holy fucking shit. You're really an angel. This is fucking real. Like, I've had faith. Having faith is way different from knowing some shit.
Right.
That's true.
You know, you can believe somebody loves you, right? Like, I get the glimpse every time I think of my parents now, after this past year. Like, you know they love you, but those actions that take place in life where you're like, damn, you really will fucking kill a motherfucker for me.
Yeah.
You really are on my side no matter what. Wow! That's the first thing I feel. Then the second thing I feel is like the deepness. And then I feel the like overwhelming joy, which can bring tears. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the experience you're about to take us on. That's why he has fun. That's why he's able to laugh. Yeah, even nightmares at this point. Okay. Because then he has a place to reconcile himself for you guys to continue in the rest of this.
Yeah.
So let's take it at the end of that and keep moving forward into the next monologue. Nice adjustment.
So I say, I got it. Crap. Feels like rather have nightmares. My darkest days.
Mm-hmm.
I even asked as far as like da-da-da.
Yeah, take it from there. Take it from where you guys
Alright,
just
so
left
yeah,
off.
so this is left over now, so I don't know.
So I have to take you to the other side. Take it from there. Whatever that is.
Okay, that's the whole thing.
Oh, no. Sorry, the one she
Wasn't
says after. Yeah.
You've been knowing I was coming, haven't you?
Yes. Yes, oh yes. I'd rather have nightmares. I've even dreamt of you with eyes wide open. In my darkest days, I've even asked God to just please get it over with. Even in my own church.
Which is ironic now. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, now that I think about it, I've been asking for this. I guess prayers come true.
Yeah. All right.
One more time.
Yes, okay.
Do it one more time.
It's rather have nightmares in my darkest hours. I have prayed for you with eyes wide open.
Yeah.
There's
I
so
pray-
many different with that. Some nights I have asked God, please just get it over with.
Got it.
Yeah.
So go back to the same spot one more time, just to make sure it's in your body.
You've been knowing I was coming, haven't you?
Yes. Yes, oh yes. I'd rather have nightmares. I've even dreamt of you with eyes wide open. In my darkest days, I've even asked God to please get it over with. Even at my own church. Line.
Who knew that?
Who knew death could be so beautiful?
Right, and that's where you let yourself be as honest as you want to be. That goes back to the Martin Luther King rumor. The thing that gets to save you in this moment is that women are beautiful. Black women are beautiful. That's what Katori is also saying.
Yeah, that part.
So like, that overwhelming sense of laughter and denial, that's where all that stuff you were doing before goes. I didn't know it would look like this though. I thought it'd be a Mack truck or.
Right.
And ultimately it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, God gave you this grace to know the violence to come. Because you earned it. Let's keep going from there. So, I never thought it could be so beautiful. Take it from there.
I never knew death could be so beautiful. Did you say something else, right?
Almost make a man want to die.
Almost it. Alright. I never knew death could be so beautiful. It almost make a man want to cry.
Die. It's okay.
Die.
D-I-E.
As in dog.
Die.
Yeah. And
Die.
what is he doing with those two sentences after what he just said and is experiencing? What is he trying to do for himself?
I would say right now he would. To me, it's just more so he's excited. Well, like you said to your point when you were saying it's like, wow, death looks like this, and then it's like, okay, then take me then. Shit, if you look like that.
Well,
like,
partially, but that's not the story.
No.
That's not the story we tell, right?
Right.
That's not the story Katori tells. So my question becomes, isn't it also a distraction? To find this amazement, to know the truth, and then to resort to such like petty flirting.
Right.
Because what does she say after he says that?
You not afraid of me?
It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah.
Because what she's really saying is, why are you playing?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because he's
That
like,
allows-
This is the
Cause
first
it-
of, or can you call God,
Totally.
all of this stuff. So it's like, you're not done.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, remind yourself that that's the beginning. So now let's get to a proper monologue. Am I making sense though?
No, you are.
Because what was happening, that's why you have to go back and re-journey this man. Remember, the solemn part, the most important part of this whole play is when Martin Luther King says the sentence 3 times in a row. I am a man, I am a man, I am a man. Because that is what we forget about him. That is what we forgot about him when he was alive, and that is what we forget about him in retrospect. He's just this big old icon with all these like pretty lines, when he's the literal culture of why white folks think they can protest for fibromyalgia. He did that shit. He organized that shit. He made that shit make sense. Malcolm X couldn't do it. The Panthers couldn't do it. He did it. He changed laws because he did it that way. That's just amazing. So let him fucking enjoy being a guy and just amazed in all those smaller ways. Use your volume and allow yourself to relax. But you organically give yourself more texture, more intonations, and more options when you use your volume, which I know you don't use because you're constantly respectful of other people's sound and space. You're just that kind of essence. So you gotta practice like singing. From do down to toe, or whatever it is. From do to do, actually. Right. Because it ends on do again.
Yeah, it does.
That's really important. Let's show you the telephone call.
Let's do it.
Actually, let's read into it. So the tone change was like, you go from flirting to talking to your wife, but there's 4 different things going on there.
Yes.
So what are they? So let's just get a couple of lines prior so that you can have your tone
The call
change.
to God? Or, yeah.
No, the phone call to,
Oh, the phone call.
to
Got it.
Corey. The top part.
Got it.
We're reviewing some stuff, just so that she knows how I worked with you, so that then you guys can spend the last 15 minutes figuring out your game plan.
Cool.
Okay. Ooh, God gonna get me. I'm going to hell just for cussing in front of you. Going straight to hell.
No. According to your face, man, you done fell straight from heaven.
You little poet. You. I likes you.
I like you too.
Ring, 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 ring.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, I'll just be on
Dr. King here. Oh, hey, Corey. Hey. Yes, I did call. But you didn't pick up. Oh, you were at a meeting. Yes. Well, it was fine. It wasn't a lot of people, but it was enough. Yes, I'm getting hoarse. Yes, I'm drinking my tea. I'm drinking my tea right now. You know you forgot to pack my toothbrush again. Yeah. I'll just get another one in the morning. Yeah. Don't worry yourself, Doc. You can't remember everything. Did they call? What they say? Ugly voices. You worried? I'm not. Children asleep? Oh, she's still up? Oh, she can't sleep. Well, let me talk to her. Hey, it's Paul. Now what Paul say? You gotta listen to your mom when Paul ain't there. Oh, you can't sleep. Oh, well, me too sometimes. But you know what I like to do? I like to just lay down and pray and I knock right off. Makes everything real peaceful. You promise you're gonna be good? Okay, well let me talk back to your mom. Oh, she's in the bathroom. Okay. Well, tell Yolanda and your brothers that Paul's seen when he get back. And tell your mom I love her. Okay, good night, Bernice.
Shouldn't lie like that.
Like what?
That's
So-
nice. Ooh, those were huge shifts in that.
And the way we work through that, the biggest note I keep impressing upon Chris is that Chris is enough.
Yeah.
that Chris reacting like a man who is married, I was like, if the phone rang right now and your wife called and said there was someone outside your house, you'd be like, Ray, I gotta go. I'd see a whole other person show up in the room.
Right.
And that's what Martin Luther King has earned, is that we get to see all the hues of him. We get to see him cry in this. We get to see him filled with fury. We get to see him be sexy. We get to see him act goofy. Every single thing that you've wanted to express as a black male in your vessel, you get to do in this role, because it's just between the two of them. There are no right answers. The only wrong answer is believing that there are no other hues. That him being Martin Luther King is enough. And that won't work for you, because you were already that when you took the role. That's why they cast you. You are stoic. You are calm. You are eloquent. You have great posture. You know how to walk across a room. But who's the guy who like shuffles and can dance and can like get hella mad and raise his fucking voice and then the next second be like, I'm sorry, that was a little much. That's what we're interested in, is the mercurialness of Martin Luther King and how he's just like all of us. Because once we can convince people of that in this play, that means you can be imperfect and make great things happen. Great things change the world for the absolute best. Every time I see versions of this play, and I realize that this play was written before we had a black president, I cry. Every single time I think about it. Because that's what she was writing about. That's where the tears come, is the amazement of what you decide directorially to put in that moment.
Yeah.
Of how much we as black people have grown and made something from literally nothing. And he's a part of that. And he gets to die knowing he's a part of that. But only after acting like a little boy, being impetuous, flirting too much, then being too shy, then being pious. Then, like, whatever choice you make, as long as it's strong, it will work. And as long as you understand that he is constantly going through this the whole time. It's like whenever something great has happened to you that you didn't expect, or something bad you didn't expect, there's that few days before, that week before, that day before, where your whole sense of everything is happening and you find yourself having weird fights with people and laughing with them in the same conversation. That's what this is. He has met a deity that brings out and makes him feel safe enough to be all of those things. He gets it because she's a fucking angel. There's nothing he's going to behave like that will offend her. And from the moment that liberation happens, which happens after that phone call, that's what allows him to be all these things. And that's why we came to see the play. That's the only reason. It's to see him guffaw and act silly and be eloquent and be in pain and love his wife and kind of be attracted to somebody else, because you're actually showing us that a grown man, that what he can connect to someone and also know his place as a partner. It can happen. But you have to be able to feel that there and feel that there. So you can have no judgment of him if you're gonna play him. Those are the notes I have. Can't judge him at all. He laughs out loud when he's alone. He shouts. And he can be hella gangster when people want to fuck with his people.
Yeah, I like that
That's
section.
it. That's what we.
I like it.
It was
I wanted
fun.
to also see, kind of like, well, of course, the last monologue, because we've never seen it ever. So I kind of want to work with that. But before that, I know I gave you a little bit of notes on the called the plastic flower moment, when he gives, his wife a forever rose.
Oh, that?
Yeah, the softness in that, and I don't wanna use that word softness, but I kinda, like, we were saying that man, you know, like, I wanna see the husband. And I feel like
Gentility.
gentility.
Is he gentle?
Yeah, I wanna see it. I'm curious, especially because before it was on the phone and he kind of like completely disregarded Cammy because Cammy's cleaning and everything, but now she's right there. The way they're blocked, she's sitting right next to you when you're.
Because you decided to call your wife, right?
Yeah, yes,
To make sure.
Pick up for you.
And this is why these 2 phone calls are in the show.
Yeah.
Great.
Whenever you're ready.
I'll give you the line before. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna do. When do you walk over there? Do you remember? I need to leave my men
I was
some
like, well,
instructions.
Yeah, I need to leave my men some instructions, notes.
They can do it on their own.
Well, they need to know what to do when I'm gone.
They don't know what to do. You talk them up.
Well, my wife, I need to call my wife. Corey, pick up. Corey, pick up. Corey, pick up. I always bought flowers when I went away. Always with the mindset that they will last long enough before I came home. I could never make amends, so I bought flowers that stand in the passing pockets of time just as I existed for her. I picked a beautiful flower called absence, and it bloomed like dandelions, a weed that she couldn't rid her garden of. Last week, when I went home, I walked by the store and saw the most perfect flowers, these radiant red carnations. I walked into the store, and you know what? You know what else happened, Cam May? They weren't real. My eyes played tricks on me. But I bought those flowers, and they arrived just yesterday before I left to board my plane to Memphis. And then she came to me with a twinkle in her eye. And she said, Martin, you don't ever give me these artificial things. I smiled. Today is different. Today.
You knew she only need a flower that could last forever.
Okay. Couple of things I want you to think about. One is the walk over, the whole like my men. This is the point of like, I don't know what the rules are in terms of how you guys get yourselves there. This monologue works when the outpouring of emotion on her not answering happens. that it isn't reconciled. Again, that word is working against you. Martin Luther King, your version, is too reconciled to his circumstances. He's too like, okay, I guess that's it. I guess that's what it is. And I think part of it is that you allowing yourself, it's not panic, it's true sadness, because you know that the next time she hears about you, you're dead. You're in mourning for her in this monologue. So the tears aren't, oh my God, I'm not gonna see my wife again. It's, oh my God, she's not gonna see me. Come on, Corey, pick up. Please pick up. Come on, Corey. And then the energy of real release of sadness, and using that story as a way for you to know that she's gonna be okay. And the angel helps you. Her line is there to be in agreement. That's just structurally what needs to happen. You're working way harder in the monologue because all the work is before it. Because this monologue is exactly what you said. It's not soft, it's simple.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done in the monologue because all the work is before it. The monologue is supposed to be where we as an audience are all like, we all just cried too, and now we get to hear this story, and it gets to be like, yeah, she'll have those flowers forever. Wow. That's what we're supposed to feel. So it can't be a story that is in mourning. The story is the recovery of mourning.
And right before that moment, you were crying, all in Camilla's lap. So that's already out. It's kind of that, and that's where, to answer your question about like when is it he's ready, I think it's really just in this section, right after the pillow fighting, and then the realization like, yeah, this is it. And allowing, can you hold me, crying, and working those moments when Raina comes back. Like, that whole thing, it's very, visually it was nice. I saw you sleep like your wife, and the moment you gave her the flowers, even working on her voice, sweet, it's very sweet. Yeah, but you know what, it doesn't feel sad. Like, it feels like, dang, wow. Like, it's not like, oh, he's never gonna see her again. It's like,
I'm really glad she has flowers forever.
yeah.
I didn't know it at the time, but that's why it happened that way. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only moment you're reconciled in the play, is these words. Everything else is visceral and passionate and emotional and on the surface and idiosyncratic. It is not what we expect of him. So play more vocally in particular. Pull the air out. You spend a lot of time, because here's what it is. I know you're not searching for the line, but it looks like you're searching for the line. And so I'm like, he's searching for the line. And then you've used such a stoic tenor and energy for your bass Martin Luther King versus a guy who's off duty. He doesn't have to lecture tonight. That's the whole point. His whole plan is to walk into that room, smoke some cigarettes, watch TV, talk to his wife, have his little coffee, write his little thing, take his shoes off. He smells his own feet, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's planning to just be himself and gets the blessing of continuing to be an amplified sense of all of himself because it's his last day on earth. Cool beans? Super fun. You guys have 8 minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna run to the loo though. I'll be right back.
Run to the loo.
I gotta pee.
I was gonna say. 'Cause, 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 the last moment before the end of the play. To give you some background, we did a little brainstorming after you left about the last moment, and I was talking about having the last images to be shown, a little black girl, a little black boy, and just seeing them hold hands, and then it goes back to you guys on stage with you and Cammy holding hands, and then after you saw that image, the handheld will break, and then that monologue will come. What is this vision I see before me? Now I have, in my head, I have you staged, where we were working with the worlds of, separate from the set, so you'll be here, just to keep continuity, and she'll basically be downstage from the television stuff, let's just say that. But you'll be watching the images, you'll be seeing the movement, then you'll hear boom, crickle, crack. But in this, cause right before this moment, we just see your silhouette on the floor, right? Cause this is right when after you kind of, so, but after this, we see the strength in him. We see the strength that the future gives him, and that's what I kind of want you to feel. The images will be moving up, like as if you're scrolling up on your iPhone. And of course, we'll play with speed to see which best. As far as I see it advancing slowly. So maybe like the first images move slowly, but by the end, we're moving and going up. And then you'll be here. Yeah, any thoughts on your
Yeah, I was like you were saying it's like a slow build, and then I picked, cause like I saw myself picking it up like around, well, nobody said it was ever gonna be easy. Nobody said whatever happened in an instant. Everybody said we'd never get there, but then again, nobody thought we'd make it this far. Oh, wait. See, nobody said nobody said it would happen in an instant. Everybody said we would never get there. But then again, nobody ever thought we would make it this far. Can I get an amen? I said, can I get an amen? You have wandered the desert. The flaming sands burning your feet, but you are standing at the edge of Canaan on a mountaintop made of dreams of men and women who have paid the ultimate price with their lives. Children of the Nile, you must rise, and can no longer walk weary through this world with willowed backs. Your time is now. I tell you now. The baton may have been dropped, but anyone can pick it back up. I don't know whether we're in a race we are, but pick that baton up and pass it along. The baton is no longer the burden that my image can bear. For you are the climbers, the new carriers of the cross. I beg you, implore you, don't give in and toss it off. On this here mountaintop, there is a beauty to behold, the promised land. Your promised land is in black, red, white, blue, brown, and gold. Canaan is calling. She is calling for you to come. The promised land is so close and yet so far away. So close and yet so far away. So close and yet so.
I'm gonna share some of my thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not so much of like what you need to work on, but just hearing you say it and how we're gonna visually stage it. I think that there's strength that you got from seeing the images, like seeing the future, right? This is me assuming, right? You might have a different take, and I'm interested to hear. But I think that when he starts, what is this vision I see before me? Like, I think in ways he's excited. I don't think that, I think he's super, I mean, and I don't know, cause some of the, of course, some of these moments are, is really terrible, but there is beauty in the future. And I was just telling him that I was gonna have the last image be of a little girl, little black boy, and holding hands, and then it will cut to the image of, that'll be the last moment, and then we'll come back on stage and have them hold hands, and then just kind of, and you know, it could be audience interpretation of it being them as children and seeing, but just having that, the black future, which you were kind of saying, like, we have future, and this was written before the black president, so it's kind of like foretelling, you know, and just reminding the audience that you see these little kids in the street, and we could be anybody or anyone, so
Right.
just having that, and then I think that propels you into this last final speech. I see you working with, and like I said, this is the first time I heard it, so, yeah, but I see you working with bringing back that persona. I'm interested if, and this is all about how we're gonna end this, right? I don't think it's a somber ending, completely, I don't.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I
No.
agree with all your notes, but like, just the whole reason I've been saying to you, strip away the stoicism and the eloquence and all of that from the play, is because she wrote a fucking sermon at the end that gives you every second and every moment to be full on Martin Luther King. I mean, more so than even what you do right now. Do you see what I mean? That's where you need to go back and you need to listen to the 25-minute I've been to the mountaintop. Because what is this vision I see before me doesn't have to be good and bad. It's all of it.
It's all of it.
So go back and play with the exercise on Wednesday for this monologue of it as a Martin Luther King sermon. That it is the part where nothing else in the play exists this way for him.
Right.
None of it. The rest of it is the man. But she deliberately ends this play with the icon of the
Yeah.
man. Nail that icon and be Chris. Do you see what I mean? And when I said that, I meant like the idea of the black male. Like, Martin Luther King was a black man who was married with kids who was threatened every single day of his life. How is that different from any kid in Brooklyn?
No.
Every day of his life as a person, he had to assume he was gonna get shot. Be that guy. And then allow this monologue to be the Martin Luther King that we all anticipate and expected at the beginning of the play. And then we have the reason why we came. We came to see the man and to honor the icon. That's why we come.
Cool.
Was this helpful today, Chris?
No, it was.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it was. And especially since we have it on camera, I'm like, oh, yes, I can definitely, especially for the call, the sanitation workers monologue, it helps fuel the telephone call with God a little bit too.
Yeah.
And also, like, really taking a look at the overall view you have of his journey,
Yeah.
of this man's journey. You know?
Yeah.
Make a list of all the things you want to reflect. That's part of being a black male. And then play with, where is it in the play? Do you know what I mean? Where do I get to play that? You're already Martin Luther King. You're gonna be in a suit. You Martin Luther King. Like, that part's done. That part is done.
Yeah.
So the fuck? What else? That guy. All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'll see you guys next week. I think I see you next week in person.
Well,
I'll call you because I might be in
I was
text.
gonna say, we'll see, cause I'm in published rehearsal.
You're in a published rehearsal too.
But if it
So-
can work, then.
Why don't we do this? If you guys are meeting on Wednesday, you don't have to, just give me a tape of the rehearsal itself. I do want to take a look at you becoming more physically animated, louder. These are the things I'm physically going to be looking at for you. Your volume builds this character better, because then when you get to be quiet, you have another level. So your volume will be important, and relaxing. You put your hands in your pockets way too much. It's his hotel room. Where is he? Why is he there? She's just a servant. If he didn't have a crush on her, he wouldn't give a fuck.
Right.
So like, go back and reimagine the realness of being a rock star and what a rock star would want to do in private. He was a rock star. He and Jimi Hendrix. That was 1968. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good work.
Really good work today.
Seriously.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. I will check in soon, Soonakins.
Soonakins!
I love your hair too.